following series of exercises are with the foam roll. The foam roll is a great tool to help improve posture, improve the elasticity of muscles, as well as prepare your muscles for activity. This exercise is called foam rolling for thoracic spine extension. The purpose of this exercise is to help extend the thoracic spine, which will help improve posture, as well as prepare the body for upper extremity exercises such as weightlifting or throwing or other racket type sports. To get on the foam roll for this exercise, you begin sitting, put your hands behind your head to support yourself, and then slowly go back over the foam roll. She's going to go into a thoracic spine extension, so her back will extend over the foam roll. She's going to let her head sink back and be supported by her hands and roll slowly up and down the foam roll. As she rolls, her back goes even into more extension. To add more intensity, she can add a component of side bending with her upper body by going side to side a few times as she finds a trigger point. Then she can go up a level or two and go side to side again. To create even more intensity, she can rock her knees back and forth. This adds a rotational component. Rock the knees back and forth, and then she can roll up the foam roll and work that again. For the foam roll PEC stretch, she'll start laying on the foam roll with the foam roll in the middle of her spine. Then she'll reach her arms out wide until she feels a stretch through her pec or chest region. To increase her stretch, she's going to move her arm to a position where she feels a little bit more intensity. When she feels a good strong stretch, she'll stay there for 30 to 60 seconds, and she can move her arms up and down throughout the stretch as she feels she needs a little bit more stretch. So she'll stop here, hold it for several seconds. If it feels like the stretch is becoming less intense, she can move it to another area of more intensity, and then do that through various positions with her arms out wide. This she'll do for 30 to 60 seconds total. To increase the stretch even further, she can do one side at a time. So she can roll to one side, lock in her shoulder blade underneath this, and now she'll see a much more intense stretch. She'll do the same thing. She'll hold it for several seconds. To increase the intensity of that stretch, she'll move her arm to a new position, hold that, and then repeat at different positions. The name of this exercise is called the foam roll supine swim. The purpose of this exercise is to help stretch out the chest and help activate the scapular muscles. This will help improve posture and will also help prepare the upper extremity for activities such as throwing, weightlifting, or any type of racket sport where you have to use your arms. For the foam roll supine swim exercises, she lays on her back in the supine position. She'll start in a prayer type position where her hands are together. She's going to reach her arms overhead as if she's going through a breaststroke swim motion. Let her arms go out to the side and then squeeze her elbows down. As she's squeezing down, she should feel her scapula muscles in her back contract, and then she's going to go through this motion several times. So as she comes up, she'll feel a stretch through her pec region. As she comes down, she's going to feel a pinch in her back, as well as a little bit more intensity through her chest region. She'll do this exercise for either 10 to 20 repetitions or for 30 to 60 seconds. The name of this exercise is called the foam roll lat rollout. The purpose of this exercise is to loosen up and relieve the trigger points of the latissimus muscle, which travels all along through here. Loosening these muscles up and making this more flexible will help improve shoulder and thoracic spine mobility, and it will help improve performance during any type of upper extremity activity, including racket sports or throwing sports or weightlifting. For the lat rolling exercise, we're going to be loosening up and working out her latissimus muscle. We're going to use the foam roll. She's going to roll over it and hit her middle fibers. She's going to rock and get her posterior fibers through here and even get her anterior fibers through the lat. So to get on the foam roll, she's going to lay down and get the foam roll way up in her armpit. Once the foam roll is all the way up in her armpit, she'll rock up and down on the foam roll. This lat muscle comes all the way from her shoulder all the way down to her hip. So she's going to come about halfway up her thoracic spine and then all the way back out into her armpit. As she finds trigger points along that area, she'll stop and she can work slowly and oscillate up and down over that area. She can even rock back and forth to work that trigger point in a different plane of motion. And she may even find it's more intense being in this rolled back position, so she can rock up and down in this position. Or she may find as she rolls forward, there's a more intense trigger point on the front side, so she'll go ahead and rock up and down in this position. She can add a variety to this stretch by bending her elbow, resting it on the ground, and rocking it into internal and external rotation, and even creating a counter movement with her body until she finds the best way to release that trigger point. And then she may decide to roll back up the foam roll, find a new trigger point, and roll forward and backward again. She'll do this for about 2 minutes to work out the entire lat muscle. The name of this exercise is called the foam roll pec rollout. The purpose of this exercise is to loosen up the trigger points and improve the flexibility of the muscles throughout the pectoral region. This will help improve posture as well as prepare the body for any type of upper extremity activity such as weightlifting, throwing, or racket sports. For the pec foam roll exercise, she'll start with the foam roll in her armpit and then roll forward until she feels a nice trigger point in her pec muscles. From here, she'll roll her body up on the foam roll to go lower on the chest, or she'll roll her body down on the foam roll to go higher on the chest. So the foam roll will move up on her chest and she'll feel a new trigger point. She can roll up and down on the foam roll as she is loosening her pec muscle. She'll come down to a point where she feels a trigger point and she can roll a little bit more forward. She'll let her arm come out in front, just like she's almost in a push-up position, and she can control the rotation of her body by pushing through her off arm here, pushing up. She can rock and roll this muscle out a little bit more. She can then scoot the foam roll down on her body and roll her body up and work the same motion where she's kind of pressing off of her off arm and really loosening this muscle here. Once she comes down in this position, she can add a variety where she moves her arm that's being stretched back and forth. She can even move her elbow this way and up. She's going to go through various motions with her arm until she finds the most intense trigger point. Go ahead and find that trigger point and then oscillate up and down on the foam roll right there. She's going to do this exercise for about 1 to 2 minutes, depending on how many trigger points she's trying to release.